Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do an oil change. LTR 450, it's a 2008 oil change. They're all the same. Pretty simple, straightforward. Let's just get into it. So the first thing you want to do is warm your bike up. Get all that oil flowing and warm in there, and then obviously shut it off. Don't drain the oil. So down here, let's see if there's 2 bolts right here. Those go to the motor. You want to pull those out. Now I use an end wrench socket. Getting the socket on there is not very good. It's the frame's in the way. This is the one part I don't like about the Suzuki's. Where I wish they would have followed the Honda and put the oil pan or the drain plug straight into the bottom of the motor. I think this is a fail on Suzuki's part, personally, but let me get this and be right back. All right, so this video will be cut up in a couple spots. Just it's hard to film and change oil at the same time. So you want to pull your caps off, this cap here, and then the cap's on the other side, but back there for your oil tank. Just make sure you put your cap somewhere where they don't fall off and roll under your toolbox. And so the plug on the bottom of the motor is a 10 millimeter. Like I said, I only pull one bolt, not both of them. Now you can argue and say that you don't get all the oil out of the motor, but I'll shoot a video when I pull my other motor apart and show you. They're pretty much in the same spot of the motor. Maybe you'd get a little bit more if you pulled both out, but honestly, not, in my opinion, not enough to make a difference. So you want to pull the bolt out of the bottom of the tank. It's a 12 millimeter. And it's right there. You can see that. Drain that out. Again, if you do this warm, it makes a difference. That's how you're supposed to do it. Sorry about the camera work. Just trying to wipe the oil off my hand. Obviously, pull your skid plate. Those are the only major things. You pull those. Then you need a 10 millimeter, I believe it is. Or, sorry, take that back. It's going to be an 8, I would imagine, for your oil filter, which is located right there. So anyways, we're finishing up this bike. We're getting ready. Sorry, my hand's in the video. We're getting ready to do the hangover scramble at Washougal on New Year's Day. Hopefully decent weather. If you went back and watched some of the videos, man, it's rough. It was snow last year, so she was cold. And I think it's an hour race, I think. Okay, so I'm pulling this off. It's the last bolt here. Hold on. See if you can see that. Might be a crappy video, but I'm pulling the filter out here. Come on. So it's got one long bolt on it. Obviously it goes to this side. It does have there's an O-ring here. You just want to make sure it's not flat. And your oil filter. And then I usually kind of look just to see if there's any metal shavings in there. God knows I'm hard on these things. And there should be, there is a rubber O-ring around there. There should be a rubber O-ring around there. And like I said, one around the cap. You want to make sure both of those are there. And you want to clean the cap up. Make sure there's no dirt and crap like that in there when you go to put that back on there. And obviously your spring goes okay, so you get your oil filter in there. Arrow goes to the back. Make sure you got your spring on there. Make sure there's no dirt on here. Wiped off. Your O-ring's good. Put that in there. The long bolt goes in the front. And then you got the two shorties. Make sure these are tight, obviously. Yeah, when you're tightening this, you gotta remember all this stuff's aluminum, so you don't need a reef on it. From a guy that's broke bolts. You want to make sure it's tight, obviously. But you don't really want to hammer these. You know, so I would say, especially the oil tank. And there's always a reason why. So when I bought my bike, the oil tank that was on it, they had actually must have over-tightened it and screwed the drain plug up in it. So that'll happen, and that was like that. The JB welded it obviously to keep the bolt in there and so it won't leak. And if you come across that, a lot of the times when I pull this motor out of this one probably later today, you can pull the oil line right here off and you can drain it that way. It's not the best. I'm just saying, if that bolt's screwed up, when you tighten that in there, you just don't want to over tighten it and strip the threads out. Then you're kind of messed up and just kind of screwed on that. Okay, so you want to put those bolts back in it and get that. And then if you're wondering how much oil do I put back in it, well, Suzuki was smart enough to put on the tank 400 mils and or on the clutch cover, and on the tank it's 1200 mils. So what I do is I got this little doohickey. It's got all the numbers on it, so you can just precisely put it in that way. And then you're wondering what kind of oil I run. Nothing fancy, man. I just run either Mobil 1 or GTX engine oil. Now, if you're wondering, you got to be 4-stroke oil. Well, good news for you. Your car's a 4-stroke. So it is. Now, it might have different additives in there or whatever. I did run a little bit different oil in my bike. I ran some Maxima in there. I'm not saying it was better or worse, because this bike didn't race the whole season. This other one did. So, I don't know, you tell me. Anyway, that's it. Put the oil back in it. You want to start it up, run it for a little bit. Obviously then let it sit for a little bit, 5 minutes or so, then check it, see where it is on the dipstick in the tank.